I don't know what we're going to say, Umair. I don't even know why we're doing a podcast together. Welcome to the first episode of the Sports Dentistry podcast with me, John.
And me, Umair.
So we've put together a Sports Dentistry podcast to try to keep up to date with everything that's happening in the world of sports dentistry and try to look, I don't know what we're going to say, Umair. I don't even know why we're doing a podcast together.
Well, that's good. For some fun. But I think the important thing is, as we've alluded to before, is that, sports dentistry is really starting to take off, not just here in the UK, but worldwide. And we'd had discussions before about a lot of people ask us, what is sports dentistry? What does that mean? What does it involve? A lot of people want to know about it. So why not have a podcast where we can talk about what it is that we do, what is it we're doing, what we look at doing future as time goes on, just to give people more of an insight as it starts to grow.
Yeah, the world of sports dentistry really has changed. Whenever I first started doing some sports dentistry was back maybe 16 years ago, when there was very little opportunities to network with other people interested in sports dentistry. There was limited opportunities to get education in sports dentistry, and you really were sort of rowing your own boat and trying to find different ways of getting involved and improving your skills, and just how sports dentistry has really evolved over the last 10, 15 years, where to now where we're at a stage where there's so many active sports dentists, increasing the awareness of the importance of sports dentistry internationally, worldwide, that it's an ideal opportunity to start a podcast and explore what everybody's doing and learn from each other and network and communicate.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been in it for almost a decade now, and I've seen a massive change in that time. And, the day-to-day work that many of us do, working in the clinical field, we want to do something else out with. And many of us, we either have played sport or we're involved in sport. We have family who are in sport, or we have children who are in sport. So to be able to put the two together and then be able to have something that, certainly I find it fun. I find it different to doing clinical stuff day to day, and the opportunities that we'll touch on as time goes on is becoming more and more apparent. It is really a niche subject, and if you love it enough, then there is certainly amazing opportunities to be able to work with not just professional athletes, elite athletes, but also amateur athletes, organizations, sporting organizations. Yeah, so the possibilities are endless. And, I believe this is just the start of something really exciting. Yes, as you said, you've been doing it for 16 years or so, but you probably feel the same, that really there seems to be a real change in the tide, and it starts to build a bit more momentum with our healthcare professional colleagues, sports medics, physiotherapists. They really much do see us as part of their team.
Definitely. And that's what we're hopefully going to cover in this podcast. We're going to look at unique experiences, not only of sports dentists and dentists from around the world, and try to see how they have been able to develop sports dentistry and the challenges they have faced, to see if there's similar challenges to our own experiences. But also we can look at, from the athlete's point of view, how they find it, particularly now that we have quite a bit of experience in sports dentistry. There is quite a few athletes that have some amazing stories and how they value sports dentistry. A lot of it comes down to their own personal experiences, possibly starting off as a negative experience with their oral health, and how that's turned around and had an impact on their performance and things like that. So it'll be great to hear their stories. And then we'll also look at our colleagues in supporting other athlete and medical health, so our sports medics and our physios and our nutritionists, and how we all can come together as a team and really support the athlete and really grow sports dentistry as a whole.
Absolutely. And as you said, yes, growing it as a whole, not just here in the UK, but, worldwide. We've got lots of friends internationally who hopefully will be listening to the podcast, and they're doing amazing things, in South America, in Europe, in Africa, and it's a great way to be able to network. And I'm sure these other sports dentists will have amazing stories themselves about how what they do, what they get up to, and what they see, because it will be certainly be different depending on what sports there are in different countries. It's not just the mainstream sports that we talk about with football, rugby, hockey, cricket, etc. I mean, there will be other amazing sports out there which deal with a lot of trauma that we'd love to hear about. So yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, especially back of the success of our first UK Sports Dentistry Association conference back in Edinburgh in November, where we were able to set a platform to allow everybody that has an interest in sports dentistry to come together, to learn from each other, to network from each other, and enjoy international sport. And on that occasion, we had the pleasure of going to Murrayfield, and one of the best highlights of any sporting occasion, and I've got to witness it now probably about 3 times, is listening to the Floor Scotland and Murrayfield. So no matter how much the rugby wasn't up to much that day in a competitive sense of a match, but there's something about the Floor Scotland and Murrayfield that as an occasion and a spectacle on its own. You have the pleasure, of course, hearing it regularly.
Yeah, it's something that makes the hairs to the back of your neck stand up. Murrayfield's an amazing stadium. I'll be biased because I'm Scottish. I think it's one of the best stadiums in the world. But as you alluded to there, being there on that day, there's just something about the bagpipes, and there was a nice, beautiful, sunny day, and the delegates that were there on that Saturday really had fun. And I think off the back of the conference on the Friday, the amazing speakers that we had that day, the venue, the food, the dinner afterwards, there's so much positive feedback from that. And when you sit back and look at it now, you're thinking, why is it taking us so long to actually get the ball rolling? Why is it taking us years to get to that point? And it was amazing to see so many different people from so many different backgrounds, not just dentists, but dental therapists to lab technicians, all sorts coming in and really enjoying the day, enjoying the hospitality that we provided here at Edinburgh. But look, we're very lucky to be in the UK, and we've got some amazing, amazing places that we can visit, where we can do the conference, the people that we can speak to, the athletes that we can get in, and on that day we had 3 international athletes, Olympic athletes, British Lions, captains of international teams. It was really, really amazing. And the next conference, which we've announced now, you can let people know.
So the next one we're changing the sport up slightly. We're heading for an international T20 cricket match in Old Trafford, the famous Old Trafford cricket ground. So it's going to be a fantastic day as well, with the conference earlier in the day, a bite to eat before the match, and then enjoying international sports. So it's going to be a great opportunity to build on the back of Edinburgh. But I think, as you mentioned, in the first conference with the athletes and the ability then for the attendees to hear from the athlete side of things. And that's what's really, this gives us a great opportunity with this podcast as well. A lot of the attendees that maybe haven't had the same sort of experience that ourselves have had working with athletes really found that hearing the athlete's story at the conference was really powerful for them, and it was a really good opportunity for them to understand the mindset of the athlete and understand where they're coming from. And this is where this podcast is going to give us a great opportunity to allow people to see that as well, and that'll hopefully help them develop and make them better at supporting the athletes if they can understand their mindset and their challenges and things like that. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day in Manchester. And then we'll hopefully, between now and Manchester, we'll hopefully have some great podcasts to lead us into that and really get the juices flowing when it comes to meeting together as a group of sports dentists.
Yeah, I mean, between now and Manchester, the second UK Sports Dentistry Conference, we should have lots of exciting guests on the podcast. I mean, the great thing about holding it in Manchester is, it's quite central. It's easy to get to. The hotel that we're going to be doing at is in the city centre, and then the Old Trafford Cricket Ground isn't too far away. So I think it's going to be really appealing to lots of delegates, hopefully from all over the UK, coming down and enjoying what's going to be an amazing, amazing second conference.
Yeah, I'm sure it's actually this year is going to be absolutely fantastic from a sports dentistry point of view. As I mentioned before, there used to be such limited resources for somebody like myself looking to try to expand my knowledge and build a network of sports dentists. But this year alone, not only have we got our own second conference going ahead in September in Manchester, but you've also got American Conference, which is in Washington this year, who have been established the longest. They've been around since 1983, and they're a great resource for sports dentists as well, and they're our fellow colleagues and helping supporters as well. We've also got this year, at the end of the year, we've also got the European Association of Sports Dentistry Conference in Dusseldorf in November, which is we it really was the last conference that we held in Edinburgh that gave us incentive to launch our own UK Sports Dentistry Association. So it really shows just how great a conference the European was in Dusseldorf. And you've got conferences popping up in all areas now, starting off sports dentistry the first time. There's some in the Baltics as well in June. And it really is a field that's just developing, and there's so much great opportunity there for someone that's interested in sports dentistry to really develop.
Yeah, the good thing is that all the sports dentistry conferences, all the different ones, they all bring something slightly different. So it's not a case that you just need to go to the UK one or the American one or the European one. They'll all be slightly different. So the beauty is that you can obviously sit back and have a look at the speaker lists and see if it's something that you're interested in. But for the UK delegates to have something here on UK soil is brilliant. And the good thing is that we're going to change it up every year in terms of what sort of sporting event we're going to do and what the theme is going to be on. We're going to be learning from, real key speakers and respective leaders in their fields, everything to do with sports dentistry and out with that as well. So, it's all very good learning all this stuff, but the main thing is, and we both know that we're both very sociable guys. So we like to have a good time at this as well. So it's not just about having the conference and about listening to all these great, amazing speakers and presentations, but we're there to network and have a good time.
Yeah, we're definitely sociable. That's why our conference is the shortest conference. So it's only 4 hours of 4 to 5 hours of lectures, and the rest is all very much about a social aspect. But then I find that's when you learn the most. So it's them short conversations that you have at conferences. It's not so much that there's always some fantastic speakers, but I find a lot of the value about going to conferences is really the networking and them small conversations that you have to the side. Like, I've learned so much just from talking to different people. One memory is there's a photo of Steph Curry chewing his mouth guard, and it's used almost in every sports energy presentation that I see in mouth guards. And I was having a conversation at a conference with the dentist that actually provides Steph Curry with his mouth guard. And most other presentations, you see the photo go up and a Steph Curry, and he's got the mouth guard out of the side of his mouth. And they've actually done research on his shooting percentage with his mouth guard in and with his mouth guard out of the side of his mouth. And he's a higher shooting percentage when he has the mouth guard like half in, half out. I think most sports dentists will know the photo that I'm talking about here. But most sports dentists will do their presentation and have the photo up and say about how it's not a proper fitted mouth guard, and it needs to be a proper fitted mouth guard. But then when I was having that small conversation with the dentist that actually provides it, he was saying what people don't realize is that his mouth guard is flavored. He has requested a flavored EVA mouth guard, so he actually chews on it to get flavor out of it. So just small things like that you would never have known, and I think that's something that people might not know worldwide. And it was just that small conversation that I had at the conference that wee nuggets that you get that really, really help you understand what's going on and not just what you're seeing from afar. So I find that the social aspect, yeah, it's enjoyable, but you can learn so much from the networking you can get at these events.
Yeah, I, for one, am looking forward to hearing more stories like you just explained there. I mean, when you're kind of out with the conference and it's time to unwind, it's a really good opportunity to, pick people's brains and find out what they're doing and what sort of things that they've learned from. But I think it's going to be really exciting. I think there's going to be so many stories that are going to come out that people will have and nobody's ever heard them. So I think we want to give them that platform as well to be able to share these stories and, create this community where people can benefit from other people's experiences. I think that's going to be, super crucial.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to the stories. And all the guests that we're going to have on are going to have a unique aspect, and I'm sure they have plenty of stories that they're going to share with us. I think, as I said, we'll probably have to do a disclaimer as well, Umair, to say this is our first podcast that we've ever done. It's not as if we're experts in podcasting and we've just decided to add this to our repertoire. So you're going to maybe just have to give us a bit of a Bible as we feel our way through learning how to podcast and getting podcasts put together, because I'm sure, like anything, once we get 2 or 3 months over us, the quality is going to be a lot better than how we started.
Yeah, definitely things will improve as we get along. But also it's going to give people an opportunity to help understand your accent with that strong Irish accent that you have. So you'll need to talk slowly and loudly. Like when you go on holiday and you're trying to explain something to somebody and you're just like you talk slower, you talk louder for some reason. That seems to work. So I reckon you're going to have to do something similar to that.
The Scottish accent's a little bit difficult around the world for people to understand as well. Although I understand my accent strong, I think there's subtitles in podcasts, is there? You can put subtitles on podcasts.
Yeah, man, don't you worry. We will definitely be putting subtitles on so people can understand the both of us, to be honest.
Sounds good. I think that's pretty good for our first episode. Way more of a do say so ourselves.
Yeah, I think that was a great first attempt at the pod there. Thanks to the listeners for listening and bearing with us. And please, if we can ask you to like and share and follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is at the Sports Dentistry Podcast. It would be much appreciated. And as we said before, we look forward to inviting lots of key speakers in the world of sports dentistry, and also out with that also onto the pod so they can explain and express their attitude to sports dentistry and what they're doing with it and how we can progress things as time goes on.
And the podcast has got their own handle as well.
Man, I just said that. Well, you're not listening.
Or did you? You're all over the. As soon as you talk Instagram, I switch off. So you're all over the social medias. I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah. I just said that. Our Instagram handle is at the Sports Dentistry Podcast. Your handle is at Sporting Smiles 1, and mine's is at Dr. Umair _.
Sounds good. We'll see us all again.
Yeah, man, don't you worry. You just relax. You take a seat back. I'll do what I can for you. All right. Don't not worry. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully it's been informative and we look forward to welcome you on the podcast again soon. Have a great day, everybody.